Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters, live from the SAP Center. As you can see the lines outside, leading into the arena, home of the San Jose Sharks, of course, the NHL team. But today, it's home to esports and to the Intel Extreme Masters. Welcome back to the desk. We do have 3 more men to help us through our next group. Group B is completed. Group C is now our focus, which means we turn to more Zergs.
And Terrans.
And Terrans.
Oh, don't forget about the other race.
In particular, no Protosses in this group, though.
No, absolutely.
Wow, the hate is
why
real.
is he here again?
Because Todd's insight is paramount. Todd, who do you think is going to come out on top of this group?
Not a Protoss. But I'm here waiting for Group D, basically, because that's where the Protosses are.
Okay, let's take a look at the bracket and show you who's in Group C. It's a very tricky group, this one, actually. 4GG had originally lost his first game and dropped down to the lower bracket. Fortunately for him, he's come through against a very difficult opponent, Hyun, this morning, 2-0. So he's now waiting in the lower bracket for the loser of Symbol versus GuMiho. GuMiho earlier on winning 2-1 against Hyun in the upper bracket. So we're going to focus on Symbol and GuMiho this time now. Both of these two gentlemen came through the open bracket system that we had on Wednesday of this week down in Burbank. Difficult open bracket, had some quality players in there, but in the end they were two that kind of, they shone anyway. We kind of said they would probably come through.
Yeah, GuMiho definitely. For me, I'm expecting actually GuMiho to go really far in this tournament.
Yeah.
Symbol can challenge for this group, but he's the underdog out of the 3 players left in, I think.
Yeah, okay. I mean, earlier on you said, on this very show, you said GuMiho. You also pointed out that he was like the wild card that we might get as a winner of the whole thing. Tell me why.
He's performing better than he has done in a couple of years, which is why he's resurfaced and he's playing at this big tournament. And it shows a lot of confidence for a player when they're actually attending an event, when they come to an open bracket and then they play and do well. I think that he could challenge to do well, especially because Terran's performing pretty good too.
Yeah, definitely. Symbol, on the other hand, we know about him. He's been around for a long time. Why suddenly is he just sprung up as well?
Well, Symbol's one of those players that just slips under the radar all the time. He's an incredibly solid player, but he doesn't have a lot of the flair that some of the other Zerg players have. But, I mean, I think what Apollo said encapsulates it perfectly, that if you come through an open bracket, it's a really, really, really good statement of what your current gameplay is.
Yeah, at one moment in time, and it seems like almost every Korean Zerg has had this title, but he was known as probably the best Zerg in the world at one point. But it didn't really last very long, so...
One of the craziest Zergs for definitely.
Definitely one of the craziest, that's for sure. So what do you think about these two matching up against each other?
I think GuMiho is the overwhelming favorite in this match. He was on CJ for some time, didn't play that impressively. They didn't renew his contract, but he seems to be in great shape. Like in his previous match was very impressive, so I'm gonna, as sad as it is, I'm going to have to agree with Apollo here and say that 4GG
Why is that sad, my friend?
That's
are the likely to advance. And I think it's about time we saw some Terrans advance too. I thought this was the era of Terran. We got 3 Zergs and 1 Protoss so far advancing.
I was going to bring it up because, I think Nathanias is somewhere crying right now because there are no Terrans through whatsoever from the first 2 groups. And
don't worry, there'll be 2 from this group.
Do you think?
Yes.
Wow, bold predictions. Well, 2 out of 3 is not bad anyway, because Hyun is actually out. Just on the subject of that, him being in the group, are you surprised? 4th place in the group out of 4?
Hyun?
Do you think he's maybe just run out of steam towards the end of the year? He's had a long and very fruitful year.
I pretty much think so. He's become a little bit too predictable and is starting to be kind of beaten up a little bit, and people know how he plays and what to do against him, and that's really started to hurt his tournament results. He's had a long year. He's played in a lot of tournaments. I thought Symbol would probably last in this group, but I guess, I don't know. I really think top 2 Terran, no matter what.
Do you agree that Hyun and Symbol, they share the same style? And 4G just demolished, well, I mean, I didn't see the games, but the score here speaks for itself. 4G just beat Symbol. So
yes.
Assuming GuMiho beats Symbol here, I think 4GG will do
You still think
he'll
get out of the group? 4GG?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. 4GG leaves this group no matter what.
Look,
if GuMiho goes down, 4GG beats him in a Terran versus Terran.
Really? That's interesting, because I was interested in that dynamic of whoever lost. Does it matter who loses for 4GG to go on? And this man on your screen right now, Symbol, he said to us on Thursday, "Oh, we're playing in an arena? I thought this was it. I thought we were just playing in a studio." He had absolutely no idea we were coming to a large sports arena.
Well, he's a silly goose, isn't he? How did he not know?
I don't know. That's actually kind of remarkable. That might be the most impressive feat of this tournament. not knowing that it was a huge tournament.
Yeah.
Well, I think 4GG, I have historically found to be one of the hardest players to evaluate how well he's going to do, because he either spikes all the way up and plays amazingly and destroys everyone, and last week's DreamHack, beautiful example of that, or he's like totally off. Like, he is losing really weird games he should not lose for a long period of time, and then he spikes back up again.
Of course, unless he's playing a Terran, in which case...
That seems to be the matchup where he has the most consistency, but it's also the matchup where in-game decision-making and judgment can actually get you wins, whereas in other games you need to rely more on, well-thought-out builds.
And this comes back to the question again of, does it matter who he plays, whoever loses this GuMiho Symbol game? Because if Symbol wins, that leaves 4GG with that TvT. He's been number 1 on the TvT rankings for like 11 months or something on the Ligulac. It's absolutely insane how brilliant his TvT is. But if Symbol drops down, do you still see 4GG go through?
4GG wins this or comes out from this group no matter what happens.
Okay, so these two have got to win this
100%. Both of them need to advance from this one game, but that's not how the tournament works, right?
Okay, let's go along. Predictions?
I think Symbol will be first and 4GG second.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to have to sadly disagree. I'm really sorry to disagree with you. That's why
that hurts me a little bit.
That's why it
right
makes
in
me
here.
sad. I don't want to disagree with you, but I have to.
I mean, I'm trying not to cry on camera right now, but afterwards I'm going to sob.
Just hold it back. Look right there. It's going to be GuMiho first place, 4GG second.
Okay, Todd?
I'm going to have to sadly agree with you, Apollo.
Wow, you're all sad.
I don't
mean you're all sad. I mean you're all sad.
It's going to be a river of depression.
Okay, well, I'm going to stay happy because I don't care who goes through. I'm very happy anyway. Thank you very much, gents. We're going to move on to our first game in Group C, despite the cats, that's for sure. Let's go down to Rachel.
Thank you so much, guys. These are two players who have been in the scene a long time. One hails from FOU turned FXO, the other from TSL, and both of them are a testament to the long-lived game of StarCraft 2. So please help me welcome to the stage, from Team Invasion now, it's GuMiho! And representing Jin Air Green Wings, it's Symbol. Good luck to both of you. Please shake hands. And get into those booths. We got StarCraft to play.
All right, it's time to find out who's going to be moving through in first place from Group C, as Symbol is going to be taking on GuMiho. I've been on the GuMiho hype train ever since the start of Burbank, and I'm not going to stop now.
I've been on the GuMiho hype train since 2010.
Oh,
and
damn.
It's not going to stop now.
All right, Mr. Hipster. Well, we'll see. I think he probably will be able to take this. He's looked good throughout his recent matches, and him joining Invasion Esports as well. It's kind of given him a new lease of life, really. I think we're probably going to see him at quite a few of these foreign tournaments.
I hope so. He plays his own style. He's the Tau Terran from way back when he used to play on FXO in the GSTL days, and I would really like to see him perform and continue to do so. But this is a player who has also come back into the scene a lot more. He hasn't really been anywhere per se, but he just hasn't been performing globally as much as we've seen. He hasn't really performed in GSL either, but he goes up against my favorite of this group, for sure. GuMiho is going to get actually pretty far in this tournament.
Yeah, he's been looking good so far. He looked strong in his previous round, as well as the open bracket, I believe, moving through that pretty strongly, having a lot of Protoss to dispatch of.
Yep.
And now we've already seen some of his versus Zerg. We're going to see some more of it, and Symbol's got to pull it out.
GuMiho is incredibly defensive. That's his pretty much playstyle. He doesn't really take losses versus different types of attacks. Will drag the game to a winning position and then close it up. Symbol is the complete opposite style of player as well. He's the type of player who's incredibly aggressive, wants to end it early, loves Zergling bailing attacks, loves Roach bailing attacks, loves these weird Roach plays, Burrow or Roach drops, whatever it is. He's that type of player, a little bit more creative than GuMiho, so it's a massive clash of these very two different styles that we're going to see play out.
Yeah, and what we saw from Symbol going up against 4GG in the first round of this group was very, very telltale. He said that he designed these kinds of plays to be able to beat 4GG, who really wanted to get to the later stages of the game. Likewise, GuMiho is going to be the same kind of guy. He wants to get to the later stages of these games, so all GuMiho has to do now, in my mind, is buckle down, is be just defensively minded, sort himself out, make sure he's not going to take too much damage, and then in the later stages, Symbol better watch out.
Well, if you just look back to Symbol, who played against 4GG a couple of days back, if you didn't watch it, then listen closely, is that Symbol played a very weird series. The games were over in 15 minutes total. It was like Nidus Worm play, Baneling play, Roach play, you know, everything that a crazy Zerg would do. Unfortunately here, coming into this, he's kind of exposed that type of style. I guess you could look at it on the flip side and said that he didn't show his regular play, but GuMiho is just going to enter this, as mentioned. Don't die to anything crazy, scout this guy out, and he should be looking the better player.
Deadwing, Overgrowth, and then King Sage on station to wrap things up are going to be our 3 maps. Again, very, very kind of standard go-to maps that we're seeing time and time again. Deadwing is just that little extra spice here to start things off on, actually, of all maps. And what we saw from Symbol before against the Command Center first from 4GG in the first round of this group was even a very, very early pool, which is something that you don't see too often, but if you're sure that your opponent's going to go Command Center first, it can work out.
Well, we'll see what this is going to go like. For me personally, I'm looking at nothing but a 2-0 for this man on screen. I want to see him play versus 4GG later on in the tournament, hopefully, because that's a turn versus turn that I felt like I was robbed of in the group stages.
No.
But Symbol, I mean, he's joined Jin Air Green Wings. These Pro League teams don't take on players they don't think are good. Don't think have potential. Symbol's been around for a very, very long time. So I feel it's not so much of a pickup based on potential and what he could do because he's been around for such a long time. It's more so how well he's playing now. That is a key sign that we could get surprised from Symbol in this tournament. He could be the dark horse which nobody expects to do well, that nobody expects to win this whole thing, and he could actually do it.
Yeah, I mean, whilst we're all touting GuMiho here, Symbol has had many, many a second place finish in tournaments in the past. We've seen him do pretty well. He hasn't won a Premier though, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
So that would be pretty big for him. Likewise though, neither has GuMiho during all of his time in StarCraft 2, and he's had a long, long lineage in StarCraft 2. He's been around forever.
But he is the only player, which I think is a fantastic record, to all kill in a GSTL finals.
That's true. That's true. Was that the one on the beach? That was the one on the beach. That was pretty cool.
That's an impressive feat to have. He doesn't really have too much success when it comes to individual leagues, which we're in now, an individual tournament. He's always been this kind of sniper, this team player, but this could be the one where GuMiho picks up his first Premiership title.
Well, let's find out as we get into game number 1 here between GuMiho and Symbol. One of these players is moving on to the round of 8 to join the 3 Zergs and 1 Protoss that we already have there. No Terrans just yet, but GuMiho could be the first one to make it, as we have Deadwing the map.
Yeah, pretty cool map, I think, here for GuMiho. If he drags it, mech play, take his 4 bases, don't take losses, this could be a very long game, but it could also be a very successful game.
All right, spawning up to the top right-hand corner, it's our blue Terran representing Invasion Esports. Give it up for GuMiho. And down to the bottom right-hand corner, it's our red Zerg representing Jin Air Green Wings. Give it up for Symbol.
I think scouting, obviously, the most important thing in a game of StarCraft, but in this series, it must be priority for both players. GuMiho needs to find out what sneaky builds we're going to see come out from Symbol. But likewise, if Symbol can identify early on that we're going to see some form of mech, there could be some blind counters coming out, which could surprise him.
They could. And likewise, at the same time, Symbol, with a lot of trickery involved in his previous series, could happily do something even like a Nidus play like we saw on Foxtrot Labs Simus against 4GG. There's a lot of space for him at the front of the natural, as well as tucked away in the back of the main. But as long as you're GuMiho and throwing down supply depots down there to be able to spot things out, you should be okay in the main. So for me, personally, on this map, if something like that was to happen, it'd be more at the front of the natural that I'd be scared about.
I think it's safe to say that, well, maybe not. This is pretty much one of GuMiho's biggest performances in Heart of the Swarm. I'm a little bit off. I suppose he did get a It was a top 16 finish in Season 1 of 2013, but that's pretty much all he's done. So this could be a brilliant top 8 finish for him and hopefully hunting for more. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think that gas was timed up for a Reaper expansion. I was having a quick look at GuMiho's past results, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, it's a little bit off because the barracks is going to finish up by the time he has around 30 gas. There is a gas been taken by Symbol over on the other side of things, though.
GuMiho has adjusted his build a little bit here. It is going to be a Reaper expansion, but the gas was a little bit later, which actually gives him slightly more minerals because his SCV mined for longer before building the refinery, which actually gives him just a few seconds faster of a command center, yet still having the Reaper in use. So a little bit of fine-tuning coming out from GuMiho here.
And we'll see how that's going to play out, because in the end, that Reaper can still get over there. Luckily for him, he spots it first, or his opponent's position first with that SCV, and will be able to just plant down that command center in just a little bit. So not too much threatening in him right now, aside from the fact that speed will be on the way, and at least you'll see the gas.
Yeah, gas being brought in already just kind of says to GuMiho what he thought would happen in this series is that already this guy could go for a fast layer, he could go for fast roaches, he could go for Zergling speed, he can go for pretty much anything, of course. So the scouting, the continuation scouting from this Reaper, going to be very important. Make sure that Zergling speed is being researched, make sure that no more gas is being intaken.
Yeah, he left one in there, but for now, that's not too big a threat. Maybe GuMiho will want to check on that a little bit later on as well, as behind all of this. Going for the factory, standard, probably Hellion follow-up from there. And, whoop, doesn't even get the drone.
This is not the best map for aggression from Symbol. It's a pretty large map. It's quite far away in terms of bases, if he was to go from all the way south to north. So maybe that's not the best way to start this one up.
At least he just got a drone kill there by the looks of things. Little sneaky shot on the way out, but that factory finishing up and getting those Hellions out there. For now, though, all of this is in plain sight of Symbol because of his Overlord up to the top left. So at least he knows exactly what's going on at this moment in time.
Yeah, regular, just Reaper expansion and Hellions on the way. Now this is the switch up. Second gas has been taken, barracks has been lifted, and it's been placed down next to a starport, which at the moment is looking closer and closer towards some type of Banshee play here. The second gas wasn't the fastest second gas that we've seen, but still, that's what it looks like currently.
And I really like the positioning of that starport that he threw down, because he knows where the first initial Overlord is, and then generally a Zerg isn't going to send both Overlords in the same direction, so there can't be an Overlord down to the south to be able to really spot that. But there's the Overlord speed on the way.
Yeah, Symbol, because he doesn't know what's going on and wants to know if we're going to run into Hellbats or something, has decided to research after Zergling speed to try to get Overlord speed to go inside his opponent's base to figure out what's going on. Great delay from GuMiho to be able to pick off that drone on trying to build that third base. And we have a fake out of Banshee here.
Yeah, that's interesting that, because, well, at least the Viking is going to be able to try and clear out that Overlord up to the north. With Overlord speed, it could be a little bit difficult. He's trying to get away from these Zerglings that did almost pin those guys in, but they are too weak now, and he'll have to back off.
All right, well, Overlord speed is done. It's the perfect time for Symbol to send in that Overlord to figure out what's going on. He sees the factory, sees the starport with Cloak being researched, but a Vikings come out here. A Baneling Nest has been built in case we are to run into any Hellbats anyway. There's a lot of Hellion, Banshee, Hellbat builds, which are quite popular recently.
There's 3 Overlords that just popped there, Sean, and he's making a lot of Zerglings to be able to deal with this. He freed up a lot of supply there.
Well, 18 Zerglings is more than enough to defend against a couple of Hellions here. Any more than that is going into aggression. 16 is ideal, but right now, pretty low SCV count, not pretty low SCV, pretty low drone count. Where is he going for this next? It shouldn't be aggression. Not against Hellions, not off creep. 10 more. Now he's pushing himself much further into aggression here. If he can do a counterattack style, maybe if he builds enough to defend against the Hellions while also going for an attack and counter, depending on where, of course, the Hellions are, they're obviously going to be important to know.
And I like where these Zerglings are positioning themselves, because if the Banshee had spotted
even more
it...
Zerglings.
Yeah, if the Banshee had spotted this going across the map, then it could have stuck around and maybe done something about it.
The Viking sees a Baneling Nest. I don't know how much it's seen when it comes to maybe the inside the main base or something, but Right now, we are going to see a big attack being launched here
from
Symbol. This is exactly the playstyle that we all thought we'd see coming out from Symbol. The Banelings have been more... The Hellions are in home, but where are they going to go? They started to move out.
Yeah, GuMiho right now is a little bit unaware. He does end up spotting this just barely at the very tip of it. Those Hellions really need to be controlled very well. Going to work on a lot of those Zerglings, but that's a ton of Banelings moving forward.
Oh, there's a lot of units here for GuMiho, though. If the SCVs just evacuate and he doesn't take any SCV losses, this is very bad for Symbol.
There's only 4 Banelings left over after killing off of the supply depots. Sure, he supply blocks, but for a second, he's got so much left.
This is a fail. This is an absolute fail. GuMiho's defense is solid here. Lots of Hellions. Banshee play. This is not going to work. It's cleaned up easily at this point. And 32 drones. Way too low for this part of the game. There's 3 command centers. There's mech coming out. There's still Hellions here. This didn't work. It was a complete fail.
Yeah, the Banshees even got a few workers for their troubles over on the other side of things as well. So now GuMiho, I mean, what really stops him moving with these Hellions? He saved almost every single one of them through that aggression because the Banelings wasted themselves so much on buildings alone.
Well, I guess the bonus here from Symbol is that he did see that he's playing against mech, but I don't know where he really goes with that. He's got a lair on the way. I suppose he could go up towards the Spire to try to do something with Mutalisks here. But GuMiho, dominating position. Absolute dominating position.
Yeah, his third base was not touched. He lost a few supply depots, and that's basically it throughout that little bit of aggression. Whilst this Banshee is still going to be annoying. Players only just finished here at the 11-minute mark.
Let's just say the Hellions attack and morph into Hellbats. What really is there to stop it?
Not much at all. Those Lings might, if the 2 Banelings maybe got a really good detonation in the middle of them, but that is very ambitious indeed. As they try and go for the wraparound of the Lings, good focus fire on one of the Banelings with the Banshees, and the counterattack from Zerglings, will they be able to do enough?
Well, GuMiho made a mistake here. He actually took a shoot from a Baneling and lost a lot of his Hellions. There's a counterattack and more aggression coming out from Symbol. GuMiho wasted his attack there. He needed to target fire the Banelings with the Banshee, then morph into Hellbats, then fight the Zerglings. A mistake has lost his unit count.
Yeah, he's going to have to just hold on at home for now. He's killed off a few more workers here as Symbol, but Banshee at the front, still holding strong. This one has to go back for repair, but it got a few kills for itself, so not too bad.
What tech choice is Symbol going to choose? He's at the lair. He's on Zergling Baneling only. Double evolution chamber coming down. Will he use a Spire in this game? Is he going to try to play Zergling Baneling against mech? We know that doesn't work.
Lings go for the wraparound again and actually get quite a few of these Hellions at the front, and also pinning those up against the command center to kill those off as well. Any worker he can get is a bonus because those Banshees are always going to kill them off, but he killed off a ton of his Hellions, so that's not too bad.
Well, it's cleaned up here. A lot of units have been lost here from Symbol throughout this game. Still feeling, obviously, that GuMiho's in great position, set up beautifully for his mech. Interested to see where Symbol's going. It's not melee upgrades, but he doesn't have a Roach Warren. So we are going to see Swarm Hosts. He's going to try to play Swarm Hosts. This game could go out long, but I feel if GuMiho identifies this, there could be a clear timing to go before the Swarm Hosts are too much, because there's a lot of factories, there's a lot of units. The problem is GuMiho doesn't know. He's building anti-air, turrets and Thors. Obviously not good against Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see this actually play out from Symbol because we didn't really get an opportunity to see where he was going to go after his aggression. So it's going to really be a good show to see how much he can do in these later stages, because that's where GuMiho wants to drive the game to, and this is where GuMiho, I feel, is probably more comfortable than Symbol for the majority of the time.
Yeah, I mean... I'm a little bit worried here for GuMiho. The higher the Swarm Host count gets, the easier this game becomes for Symbol.
True. It's between these 2 locations as well. It's going to be pretty easy to push the creep up towards GuMiho's third base, which is always nice. And one of the Hellions will end up falling. Another 2 here just exploring, but not doing too much.
GuMiho needs to figure out what's going on. He's going for a Hellion Thor play. Great against Zergling, Baneling, Mutalisk. It can work if he's able to bulldoze through the Locusts. But I think by the time he's ready to push out and the immobility of this mech army, there's going to be more than enough Swarm Hosts. If that happens and GuMiho doesn't adapt into this, he'll go up, he'll bash into the Swarm Hosts, he'll then retreat because he can't do it, then Symbol takes a fall, Symbol goes to Hive, he gets 2-2, he adds Vipers in, and the game goes in favor of Symbol. I think those Hellions revealed the Swarm Hosts now. And now we need to start to see a switch up. Tanks starting to come into play finally.
Yeah, he's going to have to push through the middle of this map a little bit slowly, but all in all, at least he's got the wave clear of those locusts to get rid of those locusts and make sure he should be fine. Just making sure also that he's not really been spotted too much, but he's actually got still a few Banshees in here, which can be scary.
GuMiho still can power through this. It's 3 base Zerg who's playing from behind, who's trying to play Swarm Host. If the Swarm Host numbers get to maybe, let's say, 16 to 20, then I think it's too much to power through. If it's not, and it's weaker, then maybe this can work, because Symbol, that's all he needs to do. I don't know what the Swarm Host count is right now. It's 10. So it's weak.
Yeah.
He can bulldoze 10 Swarm Hosts.
So similar to how 4GG plays his mech out with the prolonged Banshee production, do you think that's something that GuMiho would benefit from here going up against this kind of competition?
Yeah, potentially, yeah. But I mean, he's looking to bulldoze through, right? He's looking to smash through currently. And he's got good upgrades to make this happen. But he's got to start acting fast.
Yeah, Tank's going to get a few volleys off on these Locusts to begin things. But again, any little chunk of damage he takes on, say, a Thor, for example, for these Locusts is pretty free. Doesn't get a queen, but these Swarm Hosts are really, really vulnerable now. They probably have to get out of there.
Well, I don't think they're going anywhere.
No, maybe not. They're just going to try and retreat onto the left-hand side. The Hellions might even want to pursue at this point because there's not that many units to help them out. Link's coming from the back. They really need to do some damage, but yeah, if he drops a scan, all these Swarm Hosts are completely vulnerable.
Oh, there it is, and GuMiho, if he cleans all these up, he can maybe march for the victory.
Oh, very, very nice start here for GuMiho. Got on top of this so fast. Look at this, 170 supply to 113. All that's in the production tab is Lings.
That's it. GuMiho's going to march to victory now. The Swarm Host count wasn't high enough for this stage. Symbol tried to hold him at the back, but it's not good enough. He's at Hive, he's got Vipers, but no, he's lost his main damage output. GuMiho just needs to walk and press attack, move, and he could very easily pick up this victory.
Yeah, a few more Swarm Hosts there, but they're going to get scanned, they're going to get killed off. GG, game number 1 goes to GuMiho after a prolonged back and forth aggressive start, but stabilizing onto the mech. GuMiho makes it work.
He played against Symbol, who was aggressive, who is crazy, and he needs to just keep that at the top of his mind, just to go into the next game and know that's a potential threat. Symbol has got to pull some crazy stuff to be able to break GuMiho. Unfortunately, this one was not the way to do it. Maybe playing a regular game for Symbol is going to have to be the way to beat this type of player. If the defensive player is just too good at defending, it doesn't matter how good your aggression is, it won't break through.
Yeah, maybe. You're right. And especially since now the next maps are things like King Sage on Station, etc. The maps that I think GuMiho is going to find a lot of stability in his defense.
Well, think about it this way. In a game of StarCraft, when a player attacks, you defend. When he defends, you expand. When he expands, you attack. That kind of triangle set of play must come out from Symbol now. He can't just attack into a defensive player. He needs to play greedy against a defensive player to capitalize on the fact that he's spending money on a defensive setup. That's going to be important coming into the rest of this series.
Yeah, definitely. Symbol a little bit on the ropes now in this series, and if he does fall down to play against 4GG, I'm sure he'd be all too happy to play against Symbol again.
And now, 4GG's watching this series. If Symbol was to drop down, 4GG's looking okay. I've already played this guy once. I've now seen him against GuMiho. It's just setting up for a perfect victory for 4GG, I think. So this is very important for Symbol. If he wants to do well at the Intel Extreme Masters here in America in San Jose, he must beat GuMiho in this series.
I think so too. All right, that means we are going to get into game number 2 in just a little bit. But before we do that, we're going to go to a small break and we'll be back with more StarCraft. GuMiho with a solid defensive and mech style, able to take game number 1 here in Group C winners match. But now, let's see if Symbol's able to bring it back, because right now he faces arguably a Terran gauntlet, and unless he's able to overcome this first hurdle, it might get harder as time goes on.
Here you go, Clarice. This is why I want GuMiho to win this series, or feel that this is going to be very good for him. If he wins this series, great, you're into the next round. If he loses this, he's going to lose to 4GG. And I want to see GuMiho do well again. I was a big fan of him a long time ago. I think he can bring that out again in this tournament. Symbol standing in his way. Symbol in this group is like the villain. He's this guy that he's aggressive. He's, you know, some players would call him cheesy and wants to win the game easily. He is that villain right now. He can upset this group, flip it upside down, and rain on everyone's parades.
Yeah, he's basically out to get you, as 4GG and GuMiho here are trying to battle through this. And overall, GuMiho, if he is able to advance in first place, that means that he will be facing a second place finisher from one of the other 3 groups. And right now, 2 of those are Zergs. So if he has more Zergs to go up against, I think that GuMiho could even propel himself even further in this tournament. But now we're going to get into game number 2 between GuMiho and Symbol, as GuMiho leads 1-0 here. The Jin Air Green Wings representative on the ropes.
He's on the ropes, and he must change it up now.
All right, let's find out then. As we get into Overgrowth here, Symbol really, really needs this map. It's going to be hard otherwise, as we have, spawning up to the top right-hand corner, it's our blue Terran representing Invasion Esports. It is GuMiho. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, it's our red Zerg. Representing Jin Air Green Wings, it's Symbol.
He's looking a little bit angry. Let's see if that plays through in his game.
I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if he was. For now, looks like no super early pools or anything like that just yet. It's a little bit harder to make something like that actually work on a map like Overgrowth when it is such a short distance between the bases, and thus the Terran maybe playing a little bit more defensively minded.
So with Overgrowth, there's an SCV leaving the main base, or is it? No, he's not. No. He thought about it, but then he changed his mind. It looked like we were going to see a 2-racks come out from GuMiho to look to end this one fast, but he changed his mind. He's brought it back, and he is going to play out this game in a normal fight. So going back to what I was going to say before GuMiho decided to go a little bit crazy there, is this map, if we see mech come out from GuMiho, it's going to crush, man. It's absolutely going to crush, because it's not a very open map. There's not a lot of ways for Zerg to attack into you. The 3rd base is kind of close. It's easy to crawl to the 4th base with your mech army, and then once you're at 200 supply, you bulldoze through again. And if that type of play comes out and GuMiho does make his defense solid again, it's going to be hard for Symbol. On the other side, though, this is a smaller 2-player map. Mech takes a lot of time to build up. It takes a lot of time to get that defensive stance ready, to cover all the different angles that could potentially be weak. Symbol may try to end this game in the mid stages with something. I don't know what that something is, though. Oh,
we've seen Symbol go for Roach before, and he has been able to crush through in the past. So let's see if he wants to do something like that again. One thing's for sure, though, is that this Reaper's going to make its way over, and Symbol's going to have to deal with that. The Reaper before actually got a kill.
Yeah.
At least 1 kill. It got even 2 kills now that I think about it.
Yeah, it got 2 in total. 1 initially from the first little harass, and then he got the drone trying to build the 3rd hatchery.
And that's not something that happens too often.
Not with 1 Reaper. You shouldn't lose anything, actually. You should lose 0 drone kills against 1 Reaper. With 2, you can excuse a drone kill, and with 3, you might lose a little bit more, but with 1, shouldn't lose any.
So let's see if Symbol can keep himself a little bit more buckled down on the other side of the map. As for now, Command Center is going to be coming in for GuMiho. All of this has pretty much been seen by Symbol, so he should be able to prepare in time just for lanes to start things off.
And he's got Zergling speed out really fast again. This is going to give him the potential to be aggressive, but also gives him the easier time to take a 3rd hatchery here. On this map, Hellion Banshee's pretty good. You can't creep spread very easily to your 3rd base. You need Zergling speed to be able to push these units back.
Even the Reaper just actually sitting around for now, working away at some of the drones that have just popped out here. He's going to need an extractor Or even a Spore Crawler, that can do as well.
Yep, and whoa,
whoa.
gets one. Oh my golly gosh, he gets one, almost gets a second.
Very, very close. He has to be so careful about this Dissemble. You normally, again, as we said, don't see these kills happen.
Well, the funny thing is you usually build 6 Zerglings to help against this. 4 is cutting corners a little bit, and
Whoa.
GuMiho's punishing for it, and he's going to get 2.
Oh my god. Well, somehow he juked and jived and got away from the Queen as well as Zerglings and still gets away from them. Just a very, very slither of health left.
Yeah, you really shouldn't be doing this much damage with that Reaper. 2 drone kills very easily. Not a good start here for Symbol going into game number 2.
Well, for now, no second gas just been taken just yet by GuMiho, who is adding on a starport there once again. But without the second gas, how viable is something like the Banshee Cloak that we saw in the first game?
Hardly viable at all. You don't have enough gas to go for Banshee and Stim. Stim, of course, a crucial upgrade here. But by adding on Marine still, I think he's going to get a Medivac. And I think he's going to try to push. He may go Viking, then Medivac, but Medivac with Marines and Hellions is actually very strong against a Zerg player who doesn't have a lot of units early, maybe a Baneling Nest or a Roach Warren. And this type of push can do critical amounts of damage if not scouted. And if you look at the Overlord positioning for Symbol, there's one on the natural, that's not going to get anything.
Yeah.
And there isn't one. That's the important one, but it's too far away.
And the interesting thing overall is that he's going for Overlord speed once again, but by the time Overlord speed finishes, the Medivac will be finished anyway and he'll be moving out. He already is moving out.
So he's getting the Baneling Nest here. Not sure if aggressive or defensive, but that's going to be pretty key in defending this, and just simply having a lot of units out. He mustn't take damage against this. If he does, he's going to fall behind, and this could be an easy 2-0.
I mean, he's already taking a bit of damage at the third base. Not only that, but the Overlord on the right-hand side hasn't even seen that Medivac anyway.
If that third base gets cancelled...
Yeah. And it could. He's freeing up a lot of supply Symbol once again, so we're probably going to see a bit of a flood of Zerglings. He needs them anyway to be able to deal with this kind of thing. 5 Overlords were in production at this point, so...
Yeah, it looks like he's going to try the same as the last game here. He's going to realize that this third hatchery's gone, and this may just push him further into his strategy choice. This hatchery's a goner.
Yeah, definitely. With that amount of firepower, the Queen's trying to get over there, but as you said, it's hard to spread the creep over that third location. Gets the kill, gets the drone. He could even get a little bit more.
And he's going to try to. Anything he can get here is going to be nice, but at the same time, anything that GuMiho loses is going to assist Symbol in his little bit of aggression if he goes for it.
He's going to get himself a Queen here.
Oh my.
And maybe a few even more. These Lings, though, I mean, what can they really do? They're trickling in. They're not really all conjoined together to be able to push this back. He will for now, but...
Even the Reaper comes in for another kill.
Jeez. If he gets that Queen again, another Queen falling.
GuMiho's making this look easy. He's come to the Inter-Stream Masters. He's dominated already throughout the open bracket. He's found himself here in the winners match of Group C. And this is just incredibly one-sided, Clark. It's just the most one-sided game we've seen.
Yeah.
And GuMiho just absolutely nailing it. Great choice of strategy, great execution, great micro, and this game is over as simple as that.
Yeah, so many Lings dying off, drones left and right, not even mining going on at this natural base either. Even with all of this being cleaned up, he has taken huge levels of damage.
Domination from GuMiho, advancing in first place, and he tells the rest of the players who have already advanced that he is a player to challenge for the championship here at the Inter-Extreme Masters. Great performance.
Very impressive stuff. That means he goes through in first place. That means right now there's 2 Zergs that he could potentially be facing in the round of 8, which, I mean, you've got to be a little bit fearful of them. There could even be another one, I believe, in the next group, but anyway, that's by the by. For now, GuMiho takes first place with a really strong showing.
Absolutely incredible performance from the Tal Terran at his first big tournament since DreamHack Stockholm in 2013, his first tournament internationally, and he is looking great. Symbol drops down to play against 4GG, and he's dropped down to another potential loss here. He must gather everything back, gather all his strength to tackle the likes of 4GG, the most recent StarCraft 2 champion of DreamHack.
Yeah, and overall, I mean, 4GG, having played him before, having seen how that series developed, and then this series as well, he has so much material available to him of recent games, and then to bring the comeback on. And so when we normally say the kind of Korean reverse beat, basically, I think it's...
Could happen again.
Yeah, more so than ever.
Yeah, I really think so. 4GG just looking so great recently. I think he had a bit of a slip-up in that original series that we saw against Symbol. But if he gets a second chance, he's a killer. He's played so well recently at DreamHack. He's playing the best StarCraft he's played in a while. It's going to be a difficult game. But GuMiho going through in first place will play against one of the second place players tomorrow in a best of 5. And I think he's got a good shot to do well.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very good series tomorrow, that's for sure. All right, well, now we can actually hear from that guy moving forward in first place in Group C. It's GuMiho.
All right, thank you very much. Congratulations to GuMiho for advancing to the round of 8. GuMiho, when I spoke to you a few days ago at the Burbank studio, you actually mentioned that you got very nervous playing there. And here, you're at the SAP Arena with a lot of fans that are cheering for you. Were you not more nervous playing here?
이제 며칠 전에 그 조그만 스튜디오에서도 경기했을 때도 긴장을 했다고 했는데 여기는 훨씬 더 큰 경기장이고 진짜 많은 팬들도 왔는데 그래도 더 긴장되지 않았어요?
조금은 더 긴장됐던 것 같은데 그렇게 크게 차이는 없었어요. 그냥 항상 비슷한 것 같아요, 경기는.
He says there was a little bit of a difference just because it's so different, but I think in terms of playing the game, it's always the same for me in terms of nerves. I get a little bit nervous, but it wasn't too bad. But speaking of the fans, I noticed, GuMiho, you have not stopped waving at them. There are many fans that are here cheering for you. What is it like for you? It's been so long, I know, that you've been at one of these foreign tournaments. 일단 여기 팬들이 아까부터 계속 이렇게 웨이브 했잖아요. 그래서 이제 진짜 해외 대회 나온 지도 오래됐는데 기분이 어떠세요? 이렇게 많은 팬들이 앞에서.
저 이렇게 많은 팬들 앞에서 해본 게 기억이 안 날 정도로 오래됐는데 정말 기분 좋은 것 같아요. 이겼어. 계속 이기고 싶어요.
He says, it's been so long since I've been in this many fans that I can't actually even remember when the last time it was. It makes me feel so happy that I was able to win in front of all you guys, and it gives me the passion and drive to keep winning. So. Now, last but not least, I want to give him the chance to say something to you guys because he just seems so happy. I know there are actually a lot of GuMiho signs in the audience, so I know a lot of you guys are cheering for him. 마지막으로 이제 이렇게 많이 사람들이 오셨잖아요. 그래서 팬들에게 한마디만 해주세요. 이렇게 해외 대회 나와가지고 많은 사람들 앞에서 경기하는데.
응원해 주셔서 감사하고 전 제가 할 말은 더 멋진 경기로 보답하겠습니다. 이거밖에 없는 것 같아요. 말재간이 없어서.
He says, first of all, thank you so much for cheering for me. And I feel like from my position, all I can promise and try is to do my absolute best. I promise to try and repay your guys' cheering for me by showing you the absolute best game. So congratulations again, GuMiho, on advancing to the quarterfinals. We are going to head back to the studio desk.
Thanks very much, Sue. Congratulations to GuMiho. Moving on, and he had to do it the hard way as well, coming through the open bracket and then, of course, the round matches in the round of 16, and he goes through to the round of 8. Any surprises there, gentlemen? Are you surprised at how well he won or how easily he won?
I didn't know GuMiho was that good. Like, especially with his unit control. I mean, the units were being broken off individually and controlled uniquely, really, really, really insanely well. Like, got insane value. That Reaper in the last game.
Yeah.
Everyone loved that Reaper.
Yeah, that Reaper was a hero.
I think I love that Reaper. Like, I have rarely seen one Reaper do so much for so long in this matchup. Like, Reapers are not supposed to get a drone kill, definitely not supposed to get 2 drone kills, and are definitely not supposed to make it past a few first fights. GuMiho looked truly untouchable in this series. A little bit disappointed by Symbol because he used these circling bailing, semi-all-ins against 4GG, and I thought, like, okay, maybe this is a meta play, maybe this is something he's specifically prepared for, but if you already showed it early this week, like, it's very unlikely that you're going to play a world-class player like GuMiho with it as well, and GuMiho is just like, nope, I'm having none of this at all.
Can I just say first, it's GuMiho, not GuMiho, Apollo. I just wanted to get that out of the way, okay? So
it's let's have this again. I want to hear the proper pronunciation.
GuMiho, not GuMiho.
Okay.
There it is.
All right.
Other than that, his performance pretty stellar. This was typical GuMiho here. Just perfect unit management. Ever since Wings of Liberty, he was the benchy guy who was harassing all the time, who was dropping, and at the same time taking bases, getting more units out. So typical GuMiho, and I'm not surprised at all he did this well. I predicted it and now it's going to be for 4GG's turn to...
Did any of you think that he would be the first Terran through of the day after we've already played lots of matches?
I mean, I'll return back to my statement that I just did not know he was that good. Because GuMiho is typically that Terran that you kind of see in the lineups. I mean, you would be aware that he was in the GSL, but you couldn't quite remember exactly how he lost.
Yep.
And, you know, names like DRGs that are going deep, Reigns going deep. But GuMiho never quite made the same strong impression. And just that series has made a very strong impression. I might not have thought that he would have come out first in this group, but I actually do expect him to do extremely well in his games tomorrow, especially given the rate that Zergs are qualifying through.
Okay, yeah, it's important to know that he's through the quarterfinals. Symbol gets one more shot at this because he still has to go up against 4GG. How does he bounce back, Kev?
It's going to be difficult, man. You really can't show up with the same tricks over and over again. I think he's going to have to play straight up. And Symbol is still that guy that made GSL quarterfinals like 4, 5, 6 seasons in a row. So he has what it takes to compete with the best. But this time, I don't know why he's not doing it. Maybe he's just not confident enough. But against 4GG, he's really going to have to play straight up. 4GG is not going to fall for the same silly things twice. Like that Roach Queen all-in, also very cute, but shouldn't really work too many times in a row. And making a ridiculous amount of Zerglings and Banelings early on. Yeah, you can catch someone off guard. Maybe once you get lucky, barely misses your units, but you're not going to win 2 best of 3s in a row against someone like 4GG. 4GG has just been playing a little too well against Zerg for that to happen, so I really don't know. I'm a little bit worried. If I was Symbol right now, I'd be worried.
Okay. Closing thoughts on that last game?
Actually, I have to disagree with Roddy. I don't think that Symbol
That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, wow, I'm what a shell shocker over here. I know I'm the Titanius of this desk over here, but...
I don't think that Symbol can win in long games and straight-up games.
Really?
He's going to have to all in
Why?
like he did previously.
Why?
It's against 4GG, man.
Yeah.
He's a god of macro.
Okay.
You let him take 3 bases and you try to take it to a longer game, it's not going to work out for you. He's just going to drop everywhere, do the damage he needs to do.
I mean,
against attacks.
But then again, against Live, the majority of the games he won were not those 40-minute slugfest games. Those were games that, like, where he pushed very hard with Hellions and Hellbats.
Yeah, because he bulldozed him before.
It's like 9 minutes, 10 minutes in. Like, that's not really the sick god-like macro.
Hey, Sean.
He's so good at macro that he kills people.
What are you doing
before.
over there?
I'm so good, Paul.
Good. No, it's okay. You guys carry on. This is great. I love this.
You know what? I'm just going to say we'll see, okay?
No, I mean, I just said that I don't think he's going to win, so then you cannot say we'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
Because you agree with
Yeah,
me?
no.
To which stage of the game it goes?
Jon, it's fine. I love the fact that you're principled and you stick to that principle. Never sit on the fence. It's good. That's my job. Right. Are we good?
We're more than fine. We're having fun.
Yeah, we are having fun. It's just for fun as well. These two are very good friends. We are going to move on now and take a quick break. Before we get there, I do have a little bit of news for you. Unfortunately, because we've been running behind, we have had to move one of our matches in Group D across to a different stream. So our friends at Base Trade TV, you can find them on Twitch, are going to cover the Bomber versus Hero game, which is a Group D match. So that one's going on Base Trade TV. Next up on this stream, on the main stream here from the Nintendo Extreme Masters San Jose, we will have the conclusion of Group C. 4GG in action against Symbol for the 6th place into the round of 8. I've also got time very quickly to let you know about a few things that have been going on. There is also a raffle today, and you can enter that by going to the URL on your screen right now, esl.gg/IEM San Jose raffle. Lots and lots of great goodies from all of our wonderful sponsors for you to win. There's all sorts in there: hard drives, there's RAM, there's projector, there's headsets, there's keyboards, and also some stuff from the ESL shop as well. Our thanks to HyperX and to Roccat, and of course to Gigabyte for providing all of the prizes. Head over there now and enter the competition. Very super easy, and we will see you in a few for the resumption of Group C.